Attorney at Large goes live. It's my 4 o'clock session. It's getting late in the day on Friday. I couldn't make it for 4 o'clock. It's 4:38. So I've made some upgrades to my stream. This is a channel where I go over current events from a legal perspective, answer the questions in the chat. It's not legal advice. It's general information only. It's entertainment. It's meant to help you. It's meant to give you a better perspective on things or a different perspective on things, current events from a legal perspective. And, if you have questions, you can put them in the chat. I'll answer your questions. So I have upgraded my little stream channel here. I have my chat on Restream up all the time. So if you're on YouTube, if you're on Twitch, if you're on Facebook or whatever platform you're viewing this channel on, this is Alexander Napolin, Attorney at Large, goes live. I'm a California attorney discussing current events from a legal perspective and answering your questions in the chat. So today we're going to go over a current event. The current event is a horrible accident that happened in Austin, Texas, and I'm going to switch over to my screen and show you the article I'm looking at. More lawsuits filed in multiple injury Barton Spring Road crash. Still no criminal charges. Okay, so this is a situation where someone was speeding in a truck. They don't deny that they were speeding. They were speeding in a truck and they hit someone and in an intersection. It doesn't say if the sedan in the intersection had the right of way or not, but apparently it did. Or at least the speeding was contributed to the incident. Now, maybe there's some comparative fault there, and that's why there's no criminal charges that have been brought. Because if there was clear liability against this truck, why were you speeding, running a red light? There would at least potentially be an arrest. If there were no drugs or alcohol, maybe not, though. It depends on the laws in the jurisdiction and how they prosecute negligent accidents like this. So like in California, if there's no substance abuse involved, if there's no drunk driving or anything like that going on, and it was just negligence, then maybe that would just be a misdemeanor manslaughter prosecuted in Orange County, for example. So in this situation, we don't know. But in any event, the legal perspective on this is not just the criminal one, but it's also that maybe there was some comparative fault between the driver of the sedan and the driver of the pickup truck that broadsided them. So then it appears that also there were bystanders that got injured in this incident. They filed lawsuit against Bird Scooters, which is the title of my stream today. Bird Scooters is sued because apparently there were Bird Scooters that were parked in that intersection, and they got hit by the incident, and those scooters projected and hit someone. So if you look across the street, another attorney on the case said they have these pedestrian posts so that if a car were to come flying in, these posts would allow it not to hit pedestrians. Similar posts should have gone in front of the ice cream truck. So that's another theory of liability from another lawyer. There's also maybe that there should have been posts. Now, the city doesn't require posts or barricades, so I don't know if that's really going to be a viable theory. That's maybe a foreseeable situation. There should be posts or barricades. That's interesting there. I don't know. Not making any legal determinations there. They can go ahead and go brief that for the judge, and maybe they can argue that. Yeah, so from the legal perspective, it's a horrible accident. There's a situation where people got really injured. Maybe there should be some additional protections there. Maybe Bird Scooters shouldn't just be able to be left anywheres. Maybe people will decide that in this case, maybe they'll decide, hey, you can't just leave a scooter just lying on the side of the road. Maybe there's some negligence there. It could be hit. Maybe these scooters are often hit by cars and they become projectiles and they hit people who are just bystanders to an accident. I don't know how foreseeable that is. I don't know if there's any liability there. That's an interesting theory, though. Anyway, more lawsuits have been filed. So here I am. I'm just streaming. Alexander Napolin, Attorney at Large, goes live. We're discussing current events from a legal perspective and taking your questions in the chat. streaming on YouTube, on Twitch, on Facebook, and just broadcasting this out. It's an entertainment only, but if you have questions about current events, if you have questions about specific situations, I am able to potentially help you out there and give you some feedback. Now, that would be based upon hypotheticals. It would be general information only. Remember that anything that we say while live is discoverable by the other party, in an opposing party in a lawsuit. So be careful what you say. Be smart. There's a warning in the chat on Twitch about that. I don't think it has that warning on YouTube and Facebook. But if you do have questions, I'm a practicing California lawyer. I'd like to give you some answers, some basic hypotheticals, not legal advice. Anyway, switching back here, just testing out my little, doesn't appear anybody's in the stream. Let's just run a test. Anyone have questions? Okay, that says it went out to Twitch, went out to Facebook, and it went out to my YouTube stations. So if you're out there, you have any questions, put them in the chat. We're discussing this case. More lawsuits filed in multi-injury Barton Springs road crash. This is in Austin, it looks like, in Austin, Texas. Laws are different there. I'm a California lawyer. Liability issues in criminal issues in another state are going to be a little different. Going to have different rules. But it does appear that there's no criminal charges yet, which means that maybe there was just mere negligence involved. Probably be some criminal charges. Somebody's really, really injured. Maybe the district attorney might press some misdemeanor charges against them. I don't know. But it's most likely just going to be a civil case, and it looks like they've gotten Bird Scooters involved because it says the allegations against Bird claim the company allowed scooters to be dropped in locations where they could become missiles if struck by other vehicles. Okay. So I don't know if it's clear whether or not any Bird Scooters were hit and actually flung and hit anyone. It talks about the posts. Interesting. Well, the drivers of these automobiles, depending on who's at fault, is going to have liability probably for causing most of it, I presume. To the extent that there was any secondary injuries caused by Bird scooters, scooters can be parked on the sidewalk as long as there's at least a 3-foot walking zone for pedestrians. Police have not said anything at this point about improper placement of scooters. Okay. Oh, the driver of the sedan also sued the driver of the pickup truck, according to the police report. So that's interesting. In addition to admitting to speeding, the driver of the pickup truck was also cited by APD for violating his license restriction that required a licensed driver at least 21 years old needing to be in the front seat. Anybody in the chat have any questions? Anybody out there? Okay, well, guess we kind of covered this case. We'll pick up tomorrow at 10 o'clock. I'll be on at 10. For now, signing off. Alexander Napolitan, attorney at large.